the most outspoken advocates for women's rights of our time.
The first woman to break into the all-male Friars Club and become a regular member. This woman is such an icon that she's even been portrayed on Saturday Night Live. She's recognized internationally, and she's arguably one of the most influential people of our time.
I'm on location at the offices of Allred, Morocco, and Goldberg, and I'm here with the one and only Gloria Allred. And welcome to a special edition episode of How Hollywood Works with Natalie Gordon.
When history looks back on the most influential people of our time, Gloria Allred will certainly be one of them. She's championed many causes in our society, and whether you agree or disagree with her politics, you're looking at someone who's a genuine part of American history and will be written up in history books for generations to come. When your children are studying her, you'll be able to say that you saw her here on How Hollywood Works with Natalie Gordon. A very special How Hollywood Works with a very special guest, Miss Gloria Allred.
How are you doing today, Gloria?
Just fine. Thank you for inviting me on your show, Natalie.
Thank you for coming on my show. So let's get started right away. So first, how did you decide to become a lawyer?
So I thought I would become a lawyer to improve conditions in the schools. However, in law school, I decided to take a different path. I met my partners, Michael Morocco and Nathan Goldberg, who were my law school classmates. And I was very fortunate that they agreed to go into law practice with me. And for 36 years, we've been together, and we are the leading firm in the United States practicing women's rights and rights for minorities.
How did you become interested in women's rights?
Well, I volunteered to help at the National Organization for Women in Los Angeles and also the National Women's Political Caucus, and I found that there were many, many injustices against women, and that many women were suffering from them. And because I knew that I had the ability to help, I had the opportunity to help, and I had the desire to help, I felt it was the only moral choice that I could make, was to help to assert women's rights, to protect women's rights, and to help to vindicate those rights.
What kind of injustices do you most see in your cases when it comes to women's rights?
Well, we are mainly a plaintiff's employment law firm, which means that we do a lot of cases involving women who've been sexually harassed in employment, and in addition, women who have been sexually abused in some way, raped, sexually assaulted, some cases of child sexual abuse, cases where women have been discriminated against on account of their gender, and we also do cases involving discrimination against persons who are lesbian, are gay.
You are, a very powerful lawyer, and you tend to use media as a very powerful tool in some of your cases, like the case where you contested the all-male Friars Club in Beverly Hills, and you allowed it to be gender-neutral, male and female. And how did you decide that media was such an effective method in your cases?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that women should have to suffer in silence, and I believe that part of the empowerment of women is to be able to speak out, and to do so when there are certain battles that are of public interest and importance, and when it can accomplish the client's goals. And sometimes we engage in a lot of confidential settlements, which you'll never hear about, but sometimes there are issues that need to be discussed publicly. And one of those issues had to do with whether private clubs could discriminate and exclude individuals solely on account of the fact that they were female. So I did become the first woman member of the Beverly Hills Friars Club. I did that actually without a battle. I asked then, Milton Berle was the head of it. Milton Berle, of course, was known as Mr. Television. And I told him that I'd like to become a member of the Friars Club, and he said, why? And I said, well, of course, because you have a great Cobb salad. And he said, well, don't you know that we only have men as members? And I just smiled, and he said, I think you knew that. He said, well, Gloria, I'm going to make a motion to admit you as a member. He said, you think it's because you're a woman? Wrong. It's to lower the average age of the club because the average age of the club is dead. So with that, I became the first woman member of the Friars Club, and then I had to fight them because they didn't want to let me use the steam room, let women use the steam room. Anyway, I filed a complaint with the State Franchise Tax Board to take away their ability to take a tax deduction for membership because they were discriminating. Then they had to open up the steam room. Then I tried to use the club in New York, the Friars Club in New York, because California friars, male California friars, had reciprocal privileges to use the New York club. So I wanted to take my clients there for lunch after I became a member. They wouldn't let me because they said no women were allowed until after 4 o'clock. I said that's a little late for lunch for me. So anyway, I ended up filing a complaint of sex discrimination in New York. I became the first person to file an individual complaint of discrimination against a private club in New York. And they found I was discriminated against on account of my gender. And then the Supreme Court of the United States upheld the New York City law prohibiting sex discrimination. And on the same day they did that, I called the New York club when I was in Los Angeles and I said, now can I have lunch there? And they said no. I said, is it still because I'm a woman? They said yes. I said, don't you know about the Supreme Court decision today? They said, well, yes. I said, well, I'm going to be taking a red-eye flight. I will be there tomorrow just to have lunch in New York. So please have my table ready. I'll be there at noon. I flew all night. I got off the plane, called a news conference, went in to have lunch there. Henny Youngman, who was like very famous as a burlesque person many years ago, tried to stop me from going in. I just moved him aside and I said, you're not going to stop progress for women. I am going in. I went in and then I said to the maitre d', is my table ready? And he said yes. So with that, I became the first woman to have lunch at the New York City Friars Club. And in settlement of my claim, I made them open up the club to women for membership.
Who do you think has been your greatest influence in practicing law?
That's a really good question. I don't know. The greatest influence was just I have a sense of injustice against women, and I know that I have a duty to fight to make it a better world for my daughter and for my granddaughter and for everyone else's daughter. So my greatest influence, I would say, probably are my partners, Michael Morocco and Nathan Goldberg, because they have been 1,000% supportive for all these 36 years, and they're a good example of the saying that we have in the women's movement, that men of quality are not threatened by women of equality. So it's really been a team effort, and I could not have done it by myself, and we won hundreds of millions of dollars for victims of discrimination. And so we're very proud of our clients, and our clients are really the ones who are the most courageous, and I give them all the credit because of their courage, we've been able to win tremendous victories with them.
That's beautiful. That's really, really brilliant. So now you appeared on the Today Show with some clients. You were a panelist on the new version of To Tell the Truth, and you made not one but 2 cameos in the 2001 film Rat Race. How were those experiences for you?
Well, it's fun. I am a member of the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and I have done some cameos in films, and I've also hosted my own syndicated television show nationally, We the People with Gloria Allred, where I play a judge. And I've also hosted a radio show for 14 years on KBEV Talk Radio. So it's always been an adventure. It's been a challenge. It's been fun. I always like something new as a challenge. I'm a communicator. At heart, I'm a teacher. I like to educate people about their rights, and of course to do it in an entertaining way, and I've just enjoyed it.
Yeah, you led me right into my next question. So, the We the People with Gloria Allred is a very avant-garde TV show, and for viewers who don't know, We the People with Gloria Allred uses actors to reenact real-life court cases with Gloria Allred over here as the judge. Now tell me what filming that show is like. What's the experience for you?
Well, it's fun, but actually, there's a lot of spontaneity to it as well, because I do ask them questions that I don't know I'm going to ask until we start the show. And so the litigants are completely spontaneous.
Told all kind of lies. He said he was a doctor. He's not a doctor.
I told her I help people on a daily basis.
Did you tell her what your occupation was?
I did.
And what did you say your occupation was, sir?
At my job, we are called the AC doctors. So, in fact, I am a doctor. I am a doctor of air conditioning systems.
All right, so. All right, that's a new one on me.
And so it's a lot of fun, and I just enjoy doing it. I've taped about 266 episodes this year, and we are on in many, many cities throughout the country. In Los Angeles, we're on NBC from 2 o'clock until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, and I've just enjoyed the experience a lot. It's a lot of fun.
How do you balance your television show and your prosperous law practice? How do you do that?
Well, I'm a workaholic. I confess to that. And I'm working all the time. I'm working from the moment I wake up. I'm doing emails to clients and responding to prospective clients and strategizing on cases until the moment I go to sleep, and on weekends and on holidays. So all the time I'm working, and I'm working because I love it, and I like to have good communication with my clients.
I can tell you're one of those people who checks their iPhone or BlackBerry,
It's sitting here right here beside me. Guilty as charged.
I love that. So now, what is it like for you to have been joked about on Saturday Night Live before? I mean, is that fun for you? I'm sure it must be.
Well, if you give it, you have to take it. It's as simple as that. And I like to think I have a sense of humor. And I did get a big laugh out of it when there was a skit with Justin Bieber, and a teacher supposedly was flirting with him, and he said that he was going to call Gloria Allred, which I thought was hilarious. So, yes, I mean, I have a lot of fun.
And it's that simple. When you see Gloria Allred in person, you see a side of her that's not shown by the media. There's a very soft, sympathetic, and warm side to Miss Allred. Though she fights hard for what she believes, her causes benefit both men and women. She's a compassionate warrior, a conscientious warrior, and she's made a significant difference in the way we, our children, our grandchildren, and even our great-grandchildren will live their lives. Gloria Allred, a true figure in the future of American history.
Last question. Now, if you had to give yourself, your high school self, some type of piece of advice, what would it be?
Just stay positive. And as we say in the women's movement, become the person you wanted to marry. So if you want to marry a person who's going to take care of you, become the person who's going to take care of you. If you want to marry somebody with a sense of humor, try to develop a sense of humor in yourself. If you want to marry a doctor or a lawyer or a CPA, become the doctor, lawyer, or CPA. And then if you also meet someone who is, that's great. But you have yourself. And also think of the choices you're making, and understand that some of them can have lifelong consequences. Be careful of the risks that you're taking, because some of those risks can have results that you're going to have to live with the rest of your life, and they're not going to be results that you're going to wish that you had. So gambling, for example, with your own body, with your own life, is not a good gamble to take. Just be cautious. You are as strong as the strongest links in your chain. You are as weak as the weakest link. So surround yourself with people who are strong and care about you. And try not to associate with the losers, because there are losers and those people will take you down. Try to surround yourself with people who are strong and supportive so that you can also help them to be strong and supportive.
Thank you so much. This is so nice to be able to.
Well, thank you, Natalie. You're doing a great job. You're very professional,
Thank
very
you.
prepared, very confident.
Thank
I know
you.
you're going to do well.
Thank you so much. Well, this has been another episode of How Hollywood Works with Natalie Gordon. Be sure to tune in next time with another special guest. Thank you.